Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We are live once again. Therapy hour, less than 24 hours removed from another bad showing, especially on defense, from the Dallas Cowboys, coming up short against the Carolina Panthers. There will be plenty of time to have our therapy hour. There's a $5 super chat from Brendan Janeski I want to mention as well. Appreciate that, Brendan. Thank you very much. TBD what the raffle is this week, but you are entered into it on today's show. Super chat menu, just like it is for the games themselves. Any super equals a shout out. $5 equals a raffle entry. $10 is 3 raffle entries. $50 for the shoddy, and $100 for a beer bong. I wouldn't mind doing a midday beer bong. Kind of like I still need it after last week. So get those super chats in and sound off in the comments and at the pin poll of today's video. After what happened this week and what's happened so far this year, who do you blame the most? C for the coaches, F for the front office, P for you're blaming the players. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. 63% voting the coaching and the coaches, 30% voting the front office. That leaves 7% for the players. Thought the front office might be a little bit higher. I think that they do shoulder, in the end, the big picture blame. Because look, any other front office would have been fired multiple times over for what's happened over the past 20 plus years in Dallas. Like, multiple times they would have been fired, everybody involved. But when the owner is the GM, they don't lose their jobs in the end. So CFP, got to pick who do you blame the most? The most. Because all is the right answer, but who do you blame the most for this? C, F, or P in the comments section of today's show. Brandon says F, Robert says C, a.k.a. Cam and Ronnie say C and F, which is true, but got to pick one. That's what makes it hard because they all got different varying degrees of blame to go around because there's a lot of it. We'll go into some of it. It's like the run defense, for example. It's bad schematics, just some bad play too. It's just like, that's not where you're supposed to go. What are you doing out there? It reminds me of the Mike Nolan defense of like, okay, this is your run fit. You go here. You're not there. Too many times it feels like it's the linebackers are like a bowl in the ring fighting or whatever it is, and they just see red and go, oh, I got to go there. They see a gap open and they go, oh, it's going to be here. It's like, no, it's not there actually. You're not even close to the play. So who do we most, C, F, or P? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. I've also got a wild stat on the run defense of like, boy, you really missed this one player, and it's not the player you want it to be, by the way. C, F, or P, let me know in the comments section of today's show. With the coaches winning this poll, do you want Matt Eberflus fired? This is going to be like a unanimous yes. Y for yes, N for no. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, let's just relax. Let's chill. Like, let's not, it's early on. Let's not panic and fire him. Who the heck's going to end up being your DC? I no longer care. I'm done. Like it's not working. Like I think there's a pretty big disconnect between the players and the coaching staff on defense, and like that, when that happens, it's not going to get fixed. Like especially in the secondary. Like I don't think Diggs is the only one who feels like that the coaching staff isn't doing what they should be doing. Like clearly friction there, very clearly friction. So, which on one hand there should be. Like if everyone's just okay with it, that's probably like apathy's even worse, but still bad no matter what. Y for yes, N for no. N for D-Money, yes for Waters Gaming. Christopher says yes. Ronnie says yes. Waters says yes. Lots of yeses in the comments section, which it should be. Because I'm mad at the defense. I'm still mad. Inside of 24 hours later, so I can still complain. The defense is not doing its job. Like, every number you come up with is like, yeah, that's bad. How mad are you at the Cowboys defense? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. It's a 10. And if you're not a 10, you're probably just like tired and you have the apathy setting in. Like they're not doing their jobs right. You can't be putting up, I think I saw the number that from an EPA perspective, the best quarterback in the NFL this week was Dak Prescott with 22 points, which is an absurd number for a game, by the way. And it was like 5 more than any other quarterback, and they lost. The other top 10 quarterbacks all won, by the way, because, when the quarterback plays well, normally that means you win. but not when the defense is this bad. It's just, it's unbelievable. 11s, 100s, 10, 11. Like, your offense is top 5 and your defense is bottom 2. It's Dallas and Miami, by the way. Like, those are the 2 worst defenses in football. They're just, it's a disaster. So I'm at a 10 because they suck. Like, they are not doing their jobs properly, and it's incredibly frustrating. And a lot of it was like, yeah, this was a real concern going in, and they just didn't really prevent it from happening again. Reminder of today's super chat menu. Any super chat is a shout out. $5 gets you into our raffle entry. $10 equals 3 raffle entries. TBD what it'll be. It'll be assigned something probably from a former player. Is probably what I will end up doing this week. $50 for a shot, and $100 is a beer bong. That is the super chat menu on today's show. In the meantime, before we get set up for today's live show, if you want the Cowboys defense to figure this out and figure this crap out, show it by liking today's video. Free, simple, and easy to do. Like the video. Goal was always that 50% like ratio. We're hovering at about a quarter-ish on the like side. So help us out. Like today's video if you haven't already done so. Appreciate every single one of you who already has liked the video. Coming up next, we got more bad news because it's all bad when you lose to Carolina and your defense is this level of incompetent. Matt Eberflus replacements, we will run through those, the short-term options, and more on the long-term options, since that might actually be where they make a change. Cowboys Mailbag, get in via hashtag Cowboys, or skip the line altogether via Super Chat. And I'll walk through some changes I'd like to see this defense make, both personnel and schematically, all here on today's show. Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. Tom Downey here. The bad news just keeps on rolling in for the Cowboys following a ugly 30-27 loss against the Carolina Panthers. A putrid showing, in particular on one side of the ball. We're going to focus a lot on the defensive issues this Cowboys team is facing. Before we dive into that, I don't think today's video is going to get a push notification because there's been multiple regular videos, a live show within the past 24 hours. So I don't think this one's going to get a push. If it does, sweet. That's even better. But help us out by sharing today's show, and we can point out how bad things are on that side of the ball. A lot of stats I want to mention. And you guys remember the Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani tweet of Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout did this. It hasn't been done since Oil Can Johnson, and the Angels lost 5-2. We're kind of entering that territory right now with the Dallas Cowboys. NFL's Next Gen Stats pointed this out. The Cowboys are the 6th team in NFL history to score 175 points or more with no more than 2 wins in their first 6 games of a season. Joining the Saints twice in 2016 and 2012, the Bengals in 1985, Boston and Houston, yeah, those 2 teams, in 1961, back when football didn't even have the forward pass, I think. Only Houston, by the way, which doesn't feel like counting, the Oilers made the playoffs back in 1961, which, yeah, if you're in the middle of the Cold War, pre-Cold War, those don't even count as stats in reality. Todd Archer tweeted this one out last night from ESPN Research. Since starts were first tracked in 1950, Dak Prescott is the first quarterback to have 11 or more passing TD or rushing TDs, 0 turnovers, and a non-winning record in a 3-start span. So Dak putting up numbers that normally always give you at least 2 wins, normally means you're 3-0. You're just wasting a bad offense right now. That's all you're doing at this moment. You're taking an offense that is putting up, honestly, MVP numbers for Dak Prescott, awesome numbers for George Pickens, and you're just doing nothing with it. Ed Warder on these stats. Another example from ESPN Research. The Cowboys are the first team in NFL history to average 30-plus points per game without a turnover over a 3-game span and not have a winning record during that time frame. Congratulations, Cowboys. You are historically incompetent. I hope you're happy, Jerry, because you have put together a really good contending offense and a defense that makes it impossible to be anything than a laughingstock around the NFL. It's It's a joke. So how mad are you at this Dallas Cowboys defense? Because I think it is a 10. I think it is a 10. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. 1 to 10 is your scale. My big concern here is that this is just Mike Nolan all over again. I get very similar vibes. Maybe it was just the terrible run defense that we saw, which was plaguing Mike Nolan's tenure in Dallas. The first 6 games from 2020 under Mike Nolan and 2025 under Matt Eberflus. Cowboys are allowing fewer points per game, 36.3 versus 30.7. They're actually allowing more yards per game overall and more yards per game in the passing defense. The takeaways are 1 higher in 4, but whenever we're already at 30-plus points per game allowed, you got a big friggin' issue. In fact, it actually got better, allowing 30 against Carolina. I'm running out of ways to say that this defense sucks. Like I'm kind of like getting limited on like, yeah, this is putrid. You should feel bad about yourselves and your family. Like I don't have. They're terrible. They don't do anything right at this moment. They can't stop the run anymore. That went away after the first couple of weeks. I think it was a player we'll get to later on that I'm like, oh boy, you miss him somehow. It's a mess. It is a mess in every single phase on defense, and I have yet to see consistent signs of it getting better. Now, today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on PrizePicks, where it is good to be right. It is the only app that offers stacks. You can pick the same play up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want to pick more on Josh Allen passing yards, rush yards, touchdowns on Monday Night Football? Feel free to do so. You can also follow other PrizePicks players directly in the app with one simple click. This is the Monday Night Football, little PrizePicks slate that's been cooked up here. Bijan Robinson, more than 15.5 carries. Keon Coleman, less than receiving yards. Caleb Williams, a half interception. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, more than a half rushing touchdown as well. So go download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS over at prizepicks.com/CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Remember when Jerry and Steven got up there and spun, that's what it was, the Micah Parsons trade of we're going to fix our run defense now. Well, no, you didn't. It's bad. It's broken again. They can't do anything right. Rico Dowdle just told you he was going to attack you and that you better be buckled up, and you weren't. And there's a lot of things that are wrong right now with this run defense. It's multiple. It's the schematics and the execution and the personnel. But the numbers have now gone wildly in the wrong direction. The Cowboys' run defense this year, they are now 11th in run rate faced. They're not facing that many runs. Despite that, they are 29th in yards per game. They are bottom 10 touchdowns allowed. The second most explosive runs of 10 and plus more yards. 30th in stuff rate. They were doing good, and it's all kind of collapsed for them. They're 29th in EPA per carry. A positive number is a good thing for the offense, not for you. They're dead last in success rate. They're averaging a successful run about every other time. The Cowboys defense can't even load up the box right now, because then they're going to get cooked downfield. And this is the crux of the issue right now, I think, that the Cowboys defense is facing. They don't want to do stacked boxes to stop the run, because all that's going to do is invite vertical shots from the opposing passing offenses, and they're so crappy in the back end, it's going to lead to 40-yard chunk plays. So now what the hell do you do? You're not blitzing. You're not playing man. You're playing this bend but don't break soft zone shit, and they're just bending you over their knee. That's all they're doing. Look at these numbers. Passing and rush defense, EPA per play. You're in your own quadrant, actually. You're the only ones over there. In the bottom left, the worst place to be. You have been terrible this season. You're right there with the Miami Dolphins, who also look like terrible. Your defense is terrible. They are a mess in every single way. And I was worried about, okay, you're doing good on the run defense, but you're so bad in the passing defense, probably going to trickle down to your run D. Here we are 2 weeks later. What is the bigger issue right now? Both is the right answer, but you got to pick one. Bigger issue right now. P for the pass defense, R for the run defense. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Let's talk about what I think is a pretty clear player-coach disagreement between, I think it's not just Trayvon Diggs, but several Cowboys players and Matt Eberflus. Trayvon Diggs has already publicly stated he wants to play more man coverage. He thinks that is what they are better at, that is where they are more efficient, that is what they should be doing. How has Matt Eberflus responded to that? 85.2% zone on Bryce Young dropbacks this past week. Essentially went, nope, we're doing what I want to do. I don't believe that Diggs is the only one expressing frustration with the personnel and the way they are deployed and the coverage schemes in this Cowboys secondary. I would be surprised if that was the case. Diggs did say this postgame. It's very frustrating. It's all of these points given up. The receivers are running wide open down the field. Too many busted coverages. It's a lot. I feel like we're all over the place and we really don't have any identity. Now look, I think there's plenty of blame for Diggs. I know that is maybe a messenger issue going on right now for the Cowboys, and we don't like the way Trayvon Diggs played. That is perfectly fine. Is he wrong? Is Diggs wrong? We might not like the messenger necessarily, but I don't think he's wrong, actually. I think he's right. I think there's very clearly friction right now between the Cowboys players and the coaching staff. You got Brian Schottenheimer saying this, asked this past week, do the players trust the scheme? He said, I hope so. Well, I think so. How do you not know? I don't think that they do. And players get some blame for not trusting it too, but it ain't working. The coverage bust is a weekly, borderline every other drive occurrence right now from this Dallas Cowboys team. It's zone. It's not that hard. And it's not being deployed or taught properly or something. Bryce Young on deep passing plays this year, beyond 20-plus yards, going into week 6, 1 to 5, was 79 yards total. In week 6, 89 on 3 plays. They were 3 of 3 beyond 20 yards. Busted coverages left and right. Good, bad, ugly, everything else in between. We will have you covered here on the Cowboys Report. Do not miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. We kind of mentioned this one previously. You've allowed some just like historically bad numbers here to begin the campaign. Great tweet here from John Machota. The Cowboys have faced Bryce Young, Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Russell Wilson, and Jalen Hurts. Combined, they completed 72% of their passes, 270 yards per game, 15 TDs, 2 gifted INTs, with a combined pass rating of 117, which is the highest in the NFL. And guess what? It's going to get worse. You got Jaden Daniels in week 7, Bo Nix, but also Sean Payton in week 8. I feel like Courtland Sutton might pop off for a nice little game for you. And then week 9, the Cardinals might be in a bit of a train wreck status, but they've got Kyler Murray. The Raiders are a mess. Maybe Geno probably has a good game for them, or the other quarterback in there. Got to face Hurts again. Got to face Mahomes. Got to face Jared Goff. I assume J.J. McCarthy. Justin Herbert, and then Jaden Daniels again. And then Jackson Dart if he's not concussed again because he's taking too many shots. But like, the defense might get better. The level of competition you're going to face is going to get harder. So will the Cowboys defense get better this year? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. My final bit of bad news is this, and quite simply, your linebackers stink. Because I hate myself, I did go back and watch the game, focus on the defensive side and some offensive plays. I don't think you have a single playable NFL linebacker right now, I'll be honest. I don't think you have a single one. Kenneth Murray is the same Kenneth Murray we've seen year in and year out. He doesn't trigger properly, and he's not in the right spot. Jack Sanborn's hurt. We'll come back to him in a little bit here. Maurice Leofau has been put as a Sam linebacker. He's not very good in coverage. I think he actually is a little bit better in run support, but he has been inconsistent this year. Damone Clark's bad. Shamar James is athletic, but man, Shamar James is a bull in a china shop, and he sees red, he's going at it, and it's not right half the time. You can go back and watch I put the highlight up there of like the big explosive runs from Carolina. Your linebackers are not fitting their run fits properly. They're not going to the holes they're supposed to go to. They're trying to go around blocks and taking themselves out of the play. The average depth of tackle this year on run plays only, so no like 15-yard catches hurting you in coverage. Run plays only. Kenneth Murray is averaging 4.2. That's 57th out of 87 qualifying linebackers. Damone Clark is 4.5, tied for 61. Jack Sanborn is 4.9, 69. Nice. Maurice Liufau is 6.4, 79. Shamar James, all those tackle numbers, he's averaged 6.7 average depth of tackle on run plays. 82nd out of 87 linebackers. This next number was actually shocking to me. The on-off splits against the run for Jack Sanborn are startling. When he is on the field, opposing offense is averaging 3.86 yards per carry. When he is off the field, it's 6.35. EPA per play is minus 0.14. That's solid. On the off field, it's 1.68. That's terrible. The success rate defensively, which you want a higher number there, is 57%. Off the field, it's 35.5. You're not getting stops against the run. Now, it's been when he's been out, it's been the Jets when they ran the ball well, and Carolina. But that's startling differences. He's not a great athlete. I don't love him in coverage. He's at least where he needs to be. And frankly, the rest of your linebackers are not right now. What is your confidence level for now in the Cowboys? 1 to 10 is your scale. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. I did flip the PrizePicks photo for the next one if you want to peek that real quick. It should be in the same spot. 1 to 10 is your scale. Some negative numbers coming in. Yep. I love it. 1 to 10 is your scale. Let me know in the comments. My vibrating energy drink because I'm tired. 1 to 10 is your scale. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Negative 10, 3, 1 fart. You guys are so funny. 4, 3, negative 11, negative 10, negative 110, 10, or 0, 1, 0.110, or I guess 0.10, 1, 1, 2, actually 0, 4, 3, 0. Waters Gaming says, thanks for the jersey and fire Eberflus. Got to go back and borrow some of those from the Cowboys there, from the Bears days. Offense 10, defense 1. Offense 8, defense 1. $5 from Nate Snyder. Looks like the colors, I guess it should be green on Nate. I don't know why it's doing that, but it doesn't really matter. Difference between now and 2020 is our offense putting up stats not in garbage time, keeping competitive, but defense is filled with football terrorists. Yeah, I distinctly remember, we didn't have the same example of it. I distinctly remember a game against the Browns, that 2020 campaign, where they like tied it up, or they were up by 7. They tied it against 7. Browns go down the field and score. They go run, pass, and Dak gets like hit from behind, and it's incomplete. And then they go run, pass, blindside strip sack, and the next Dak had not thrown a pass, and it went from 7-7 to 28-7. Like something along those lines. That almost happened this year when it was Cowboys up 7 at the half, and then next time Dak gets the ball on offense, they're down 3. Like it's one of those things. Like it's not good. I almost tweeted it out. I thought better about it because I know his wife searches his name on Twitter, and I feel a little bit bad about that. But that's her own fault, and used to follow me. I almost tweeted out a picture of Matt Eberflus and adding the Department of Homeland Security of like this man's a terrorist. If they do it again against the Commanders, I'm probably going to do it. At that point, I'm probably just going to lose my mind just enough. Just enough. Abja Pawari, $5 super chat. Do you think Dak, throughout his career, has been done dirty by the defense, coaching, and front office? I don't know if dirty is the right term for it, but I think like not set up for success the way the other good franchises do. Like, I think someone like done dirty is like, you know, maybe throw them under the bus more publicly, or like just completely failing them. Like Cam Ward was probably done a little bit dirty by Tennessee so far this year. You know, Bryce Young in year 1 was probably Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville with Urban Meyer. Like maybe those guys were done more dirty, but they have not put him up for enough success, to put it that way. Those $5 super chats or $4.99, we're counting them. I'm not going to have you guys the cent does not bother me. We're just going to round up. Any gets you into our raffle entry. Any super chat gives you a shout out. $10 gets you 3 raffle entries into today's show, and $100, I'll bust open the beer bong on the live stream. That is the super chat menu, and at long last, we'll get into what you guys have been waiting for. Matt Eberflus replacements. I know many of you guys want this video. On today's show, we are looking at the top in-season and, more important, after-season replacements for Matt Eberflus as the Cowboys defensive coordinator when he ends up getting fired. So do you want Matt Eberflus fired? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Go ahead and sound off. Do you want Matt Eberflus fired? The internal options here, which no reveal, it's okay. Andre Curtis is the passing game coordinator, which is noteworthy. The issue we run into with all these different guys is specifically Andre Curtis, Dave Borgonzi, David Overstreet, and those 3 names in particular were all Eberflus guys in Chicago. And maybe where you have some of your biggest issues in the secondary, at linebacker. All of those are kind of huge problems right now. They haven't called plays before either. So are you going to promote the guy whose area of expertise is struggling to be your play caller? J.J. Clark has called plays before at much lower level colleges. He's also a defensive assistant. Probably not a great answer. If you were to actually fire somebody in season, my answer would probably be Aaron Whitecotton. And I'd say, let's go down that path. Let's make him the option. See how he does as the interim. Give him an overview. He's an outside hire relative to Eberflus. D-line hasn't been, they've been bad too, but not as bad as your secondary blown coverages stuff. Maybe he'll do some more man stuff and maybe bring some Robert Saleh elements of the defense and not just silly zones nonsense. I am at the point, though, I kind of don't care who your internal option is. Now, Jerry Jones has made it clear he doesn't like to fire coaches mid-season, even coordinators, although allegedly they were going to fire Mike Nolan until Jane Slater reported it, and the Cowboys got all pissy and defensive and ended up not firing him mid-season because they didn't want to show that Jane was right about all the drama internally. But they don't like doing it. I don't know if they're going to do it in season. So maybe at the end of the year, you get that. But you're also not going to hire an outside guy mid-season, so those are your options anyway. Coming up next, a deeper look at the outside options. So I've got 4 different sections here. Regime change people who have a job you couldn't hire them from right now, but they might get fired as head coach, or their head coach might get fired. They could be looking for a new job. The up-and-comers, the young guys who maybe haven't done DC work or much DC work. The currently unemployed, you could hire them today. Maybe you don't want to. And the experienced options, guys who have called defensive coordinator stuff before. One key thing that I want to do if and when you fire Matt Eberflus is please do a real search. Do not just hire somebody that you know. That is what you did with Matt Eberflus. That is what you did with Mike Zimmer. You didn't do a real coaching search. You picked your guy because you knew them and you thought they were good and you trusted them. And, it kind of worked out with Dan Quinn. They knew Dan Quinn. Didn't work out with Eberflus. Do a real search. Don't force it on your head coach because, let's be honest, the front office hired Eberflus, not Schottenheimer. He's not a Schottenheimer guy. What is the % chance that the Cowboys fire Matt Eberflus in mid-season? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. What is the % chance the Cowboys fire Matt Eberflus mid-season? 5 regime change guys to keep an eye out for if they get fired or their head coach gets fired. Aaron Glenn is one to monitor. It looks like it's a mess in New York. That's an offensive issue more than anything else, but they're not flipping out Fields yet as of maybe I wouldn't be shocked they did this week. I think there's some concerns on that front with Glenn. He was a good DC in Detroit, though, and he loves man coverage. What we all want, right? Steve Wilkes is a guy the Cowboys know. I don't love that option. I would hope you'd be able to do better, but I think that's been a guy on their list before. But they've had some semblance of yes, we know this guy. We're familiar with him. He's been around the league for a long time. Maybe he could be an option. The Dolphins, they have to clean house. Anthony Weaver has had head coaching interviews. His defense sucks in Miami, though. not interested there. Jim Schwartz, the Browns fire Stefanski. I don't know if they will, but again, his defenses have typically been pretty good. Tennessee has actually already fired Brian Callahan. Wouldn't be surprised if Denard Wilson ends up being available. The Titans' offense has been their biggest issue. Wilson's actually done, I think, a solid job. The defense has fallen apart late in the year, but he's done a good job in the past. Handling things with the way his team is run. I actually would not sleep at all. I think it's an under-the-radar name here in Denard Wilson. Not a household name. Tennessee's bad. Schottenheimer and Denard Wilson, by the way, did overlap with the St. Louis Rams together. They were on the same staff, so don't sleep on that one as a dark horse option. Today's show is made possible by Omaha Steaks. Special deal alert for you guys. Make sure you're paying attention here. You get an extra $35 off at omahasteaks.com by using promo code COWBOYS at checkout. That is on top of their 50% off site-wide sale, plus an extra 20% off select favorites and more limited time deals during their early Black Friday sale. That is promo code Cowboys to get that deal. Takes the classic favorite assortment under $100 in total for sirloins, pork chops, burgers, franks, fries, caramel apple tartlets, and more over at Omaha Steaks. They offer handcrafted steaks and just fall favorites too, to burgers and pork chops and chickens and franks and everything else kind of in between. And you have steakhouse fries, which are always so good. Get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide, plus an extra 25% off, or 20% off select favorites, and more limited time deals during that early Black Friday sale. Use promo code COWBOYS at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details. A big thank you to our advertiser, Omaha Steaks. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Let's get to the up-and-comers. Al Harris is first up here. You guys, I know the comments are going to be flooded with Al Harris, and I get it. Two things. You were 31st in points per game last year. I'm not sure it was actually that good of a defense, frankly. I am down. He is on my list for a reason. He is on my list to interview. With that said, I don't want to just give him the job, because you're kind of making the exact same mistake. We just think he's better of just giving a guy the job because you know him. Put him on your list. Do a real search. I honestly don't know if he is ready to coordinate a defense. Interviewing him would help you determine that. And he should be on your interview list, but he should not be the only guy on there. DeMarcus Covington, who I'm still going to categorize as a young up-and-comer, even though has had experience, I should say, as a defensive coordinator in New England. Maybe wasn't the best season. I wonder how much of that was Gerard Mayo versus not Gerard Mayo. Now is the Packers D-line and run game coordinator. And oh, look, the Packers have a really good run defense, even though they got Micah Parsons. Go figure. Chris Kurrick, the Niners defensive line coach. All the Niners do is produce good defensive line play. Again, I don't know if he's ready enough to be a defensive coordinator, or if the NFL views him as a potential coordinator. I'm not sure if he's just going to be like the D-line coach kind of over and over again at each spot, but that is an under-the-radar name I don't think should be slept on. Same with Michael Hutchings, the Vikings safeties coach. If you listen to guys like I think Connor Orr and Tom Pelissero, they do like their up-and-comers list. He's been on this list for a couple of years now. He's only the safeties coach. He's learning under Brian Flores. He's only 30 years old. Super young, but that is an up-and-comer, like maybe a smart team would end up interviewing him for their defensive coordinator gig. Another name that, again, you might not be overly familiar with is Robert Livingston, who is currently the Colorado Buffaloes defensive coordinator. And that defense has actually been pretty good relative to expectations with and without Travis Hunter. He was the Bengals safety coach set for several years. Doesn't turn 40 until November. That's one of the college guys who would mention. I don't think they're going to go that hard at college guys because it's not the Joneses way anymore, but is worth mentioning. Another under-the-radar up-and-comer, Aubrey Pleasant, who has had some interviews, I believe, in the past for defensive coordinator roles. He is a former NFL player, by the way, briefly, I guess. I guess he maybe wasn't that much of an NFL player. He kind of went undrafted, but has been a long-time DB's coach. He spent time with the Rams back in 2017, 2020. Lions, Packers, back with the Rams now. He's had some interviews in the past as well. So who do you want to hire as the next Cowboys DC if/when Matt Eberflus gets fired? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. 4 currently unemployed names that I want to mention. Mike Zimmer, which they weren't that good on defense last year. They were better when Micah got back, but still kind of don't know if that's a great solution either. Rex Ryan is an ESPN analyst. He wants a job. He wants to come back coaching. I actually hate it. He hasn't coached in a very long time. Feels like it's worth mentioning. And he's kind of like far too obviously pining and pursuing a head coaching gig. I genuinely worry about Rex Ryan like being a bit of like a coaching staff troublemaker and like trying to like undercut the head coach. I don't really want him on my staff. Antonio Pierce actually hasn't been a DC, and it was kind of bad in Vegas. Gerard Mayo's been very quiet since getting fired by New England. Kind of hasn't been a DC like Foley either, but has defensive background in the end. This is not the last time we will discuss defensive coordinators and coaches and everything else in between. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. YouTube.com/Cowboys TV for more free Cowboys YouTube videos. Some other experienced options here. Ryan Nielsen has been a multi-time defensive coordinator. Saints, Falcons, Jags is concerning. He's been fired 3 spots in a row or asked to leave or let leave, whatever. He's a Bills assistant defensive coach right now. Leslie Frazier interviewed for your jobs last year. He is a assistant head coach for the Seahawks. Kind of feels like just a retread route you don't really want to go. One of my favorite names on this list is Jim Leonard, who is currently the Broncos passing game coordinator. You remember him probably as the Wisconsin defensive coordinator. In fact, he's been on these lists before. I'm actually kind of surprised at age 42, he hasn't gotten another chance to be a defense coordinator because he was great at Wisconsin. Interim head coach, they picked Luke Fickell instead of him. Whoopsies. Wonder if he's going to be in play this time around for Wisconsin if and when they fire Fickell. Now is helping out the Broncos as a defensive passing game coordinator and assistant head coach. I think it would be a prime defensive coordinator option. Joe Cullen briefly has had some defensive coordinator experience. He is the Chiefs defensive line coach. Wanted to shout him out as a candidate because Chiefs feel like for the most part they get pretty decent defensive results there. Has been with Jacksonville and Baltimore and Tampa and all these different spots over the course of his career. It's a name the Cowboys know. It's Ken Norton Jr. And I would actually not like this idea. Norton Jr. has been a defensive coordinator. Back with Seattle from 2018 to 2021 and the Raiders from 2015 to 2017, and it was bad. I know he played for you years ago, 1988 to 1993. He's fine as a linebackers coach. He's outmanned as a defensive coordinator. And then Don Wink Martindale, who I don't actually love. In many ways, though, this is like the anti-Eberflus hire. Like, oh, Eberflus wants to play zone and not blitz. Martindale goes, I'm going to blitz. You shouldn't blitz, Don. I'm going to blitz again. It's kind of like all he does in like a sometimes fun, sometimes frustrating way. Notable name, and there could even be some turnover in Michigan staff this upcoming season too. Mailbag time. 2 ways to get in on the show. Use hashtag Cowboys. Skip the line altogether via Super Chat. Someone said Brian Flores or Vic Fangio. Neither guy is leaving. Flores is not leaving Minnesota, and Fangio's not going to leave, and even if he does leave, it probably won't be this year at least. So, and you're not hiring a sitting defensive coordinator if they have their job in place. It's not how it works really. So get your questions in via hashtag Cowboys. Skip the line altogether via Super Chat. I know there are going to be people who want Rex Ryan. I honestly don't think you should hire any coach who hasn't coached in, it'll be nearly a decade. Good call out by Ellis, who I didn't put on here. Nick Sorensen, he sucked as the Niners DC. A good name because he has the most DC experience actually on your staff right now outside of Ebeflus. It's actually a very good call. But he was not good in the Niners defensive coordinator side. And I think he's better on special teams. Like I think that's Very good mention. I probably should have put him in the video, frankly, but I don't want to go down that path. Like, Rex's last time being a defense coordinator was 2008. That's a dinosaur in today's NFL, man. I don't want to do that route. I don't want to do that route. So get your questions in via hashtag Cowboys. Skip the line altogether via Super Chat. This is the Super Chat menu on today's show. Any super, we'll give you guys a shout out here. $5, you are entered into our raffle. That's for $5. $10 gets you 3 raffle entries. $50 is a shot, and $100 is a beer bong. We haven't done a beer bong mid-show in a while, so maybe we get one of those today. So we'll have some fun. Hit that Super Chat button and get them in. And hashtag Cowboys like Jason and Troy and more are doing on today's live show. Mr. Getmore 187 simply says, thanks. I appreciate that. And so does Turner Sears. As a reminder, folks, if you send in a super thanks, we will give you some love on the show. Super chats will shout you out during it as well. Every $5 super thanks or super chat does get you entered into our weekly raffle. And we had a very, very long super thanks from Jaden Blueburner. I won't put the entire question on screen because it would have been really long and time consuming. I will link to the comment though in the description of today's show if you want to go check out fully what Jaden Bluesburner said. I want to put this part on because he says Donovan Wilson is a dog, plays hard, but he's a guy that is a blind dog in a meat house. So I thought that was super funny. Just a lot of venting, frustration. A lot of it was spot on, by the way, as well. So did want to give you some love, Jaden Blueburner, and I feel your pain. CJ DeYoung III, $5. Thanks, he says. I told everyone to settle down after the Jets win. Told you when we play a complete NFL team, results would be different. Team's a joke, ownership is a joke, and the delusional fans who year after year think we're going to win the Super Bowl are a joke. Thanks. Record, I did not think you were going to be a Super Bowl team. People got mad at me for saying Kenneth Murray was not good, and he's the exact guy he's been over the course of his career. Go figure. My biggest problem with this is the Panthers are not a complete team. They're not, and they still beat you because one half of your team is so incomplete, it ruins everything on that for the entire team because one side of the ball sucks so much. Foxtrot Gaming says the NFL seriously needs to start an investigation into Ebeflus. No one on this planet can be this dumb to see their defensive scheme is bad. I have a feeling someone is paying him under the table to throw games purposely because with the right scheme, this is a Super Bowl caliber team. So fly in the face of what TJ said. I don't know if this is the denial or the bargaining stage of grief, but we're in one of them. It's not happening because the Cowboys, they're paying him over $1 million per year. Like you're not getting enough to fix games at that level. It doesn't make any sense. Remember, is it Occam's razor? Let me do this on the fly. Yeah, Occam's razor is, when in doubt, essentially, just go with the theory that is the simplest one. And the simplest one is they're actually just bad. Not there's a conspiracy from somebody to throw games when the Cowboys are like actually okay against the spread this year. Like that's what that means. They're just not good at it. And also, never underestimate ego in the NFL. Like, my scheme isn't the issue. Coaches do this all the time. They always say, hey, I want to, fit the scheme to my players. Matt Eberflus is very clearly not doing that. Like he's not. You're got Donovan Wilson playing deep safety coverage. Your corners won't want to play man. No one else does. Like you're playing zone. He's being a bit ego, I think. Who do you blame the most for the issues just overall? C for the coaches, F for the front office, P for players. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. C for the coaches, F for the front office, P for the players. From Wyatt Proctor, thanks. I think this Cowboys defense can only get better with players coming back from injury. And I do think this team can make a deep run in the playoffs if we can gain momentum. If this came in before the Panthers loss, would like to acknowledge that. I guess they didn't get better against the Panthers. Reasonable optimism, emphasis on the optimism side, just didn't go the way any of us really wanted to go in the end. From Ken, can you hire someone from college to replace Eberflus midseason? Can? Yes. Will? No. You're not going to find a good coordinator because they're all playoff teams essentially to leave their team midseason, come over, install a brand new defense to 30 odd guys you've never met before in your life. Maybe you know one or two of the defensive guys. You don't see coordinators get brought in outside the organization hardly ever. That's so much change. You can't realistically install an entirely new defense in the middle of a season. So you're just not going to be able to pull it off in the end. Can, yes, but realistically, no. William Cook, $5, says, I appreciate your efforts every week, but I need some time away. The coach is not good. The scheme is not good. The players, and more important, the GM is the worst. I understand the frustration. It's not fun. Your offense is playing well. Not the run offense was bad last week, but they've been good overall this season. I'll give them a bad game and not freak out yet. But the defense has been consistently trash every single week. And I don't expect the front office anything other than we like our guys, but it's annoying when they keep acting like they like their guys. We'll be here every day, bringing you the latest Cowboys news, rumors, updates, watch parties. We will have multiple videos each and every single week for you. So do not miss out. Hit that sub button at youtube.com/CowboysTV. Object says, trade Ebeflus for Aaron Glenn. You might get to in the offseason, which I actually would be on board with. Glenn wants to play man. I think the Jets' crux of their issues are probably more offensively focused, and maybe he's just not going to be a great head coach. It is early for Glenn, though. But I would give them a shot, right? I think that'd be an upgrade. Jets would fire Glenn in this scenario, of course. Nate Snyder, bulletproof defense fix. All right. Sign Jabril Cox, Caleb Farley, Neville Gallimore, and wrap the bow up with Nate Thomas. Thank me later, Tom. Appreciate it, Nate. It's funny. It's very funny. Remember, Neville Gallimore got cut by two teams, then was playing good with the Rams. It was really weird. I think he's with the Colts right now. I think. Jabril Cox is quickly out of the NFL. Cowboys love those athletic linebackers who just can't instinct their way out of a wet paper bag. It's football. Gamble on the upside with the athletic traits. Working for Overstreet when he's healthy, but that's how it goes. Today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on PrizePicks, where it is good to be right. They are the only app that offers stacks, so you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. What do you want, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels? You should do Jaden Daniels more than passing yards, rush yards, and touchdowns against the Cowboys this upcoming week. That is a no-brainer idea. You also follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app. Copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a partner, or someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab. One PrizePicks lineup coming up this week. Miller Moss, less than passing yards against the Hurricanes, although Miami might be on upset alert that game. Cam Little, more than kicking points against the Rams. The Jags can falter sometimes near the end zone. And Travis Hunter, touchdown in that one. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Links in the comment section and the description of today's show. Cooper, what about Matt Patricia? He's cooking, actually, for Ohio State. I'm wildly impressed with what he's done with the Buckeyes. I kind of wonder if he doesn't want to leave. And honestly, I would argue Ohio State defensive coordinator probably pays more. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm sure it does. It has more job security, might honestly be a better job than the Cowboys defensive coordinator gig. Because if you take the Cowboys DC job, you got 2 or 3 years and you might get fired. I think there's more job security with Ohio State. Matt Temple, the body cannot be sound when the head is lost. If you want to go back on NFL Pro and look at how your linebackers are fitting and filling the run, the head is lost. They don't know where they're supposed to be. The motion gets them. There was one play of it's classic Cowboys, man. Motion comes across the screen. Shamar James flies that way, and it's a run the other way. They don't even fake it to the guy. It's just jet motion. He's young. He's inexperienced. It might get better. I hope it gets better. But Kenneth Murray also was lost, and he's been in the league for like 7 years now. It's just not going to get better at this point. It's not. Cowboy Carson. Cowboys need to trade for a defensive end, a linebacker, a corner, and a safety at the deadline. Can you do that? Like realistically, can you get the level of player required via the trade market at all of those different spots and not overpay and screw yourself long term? I don't know if you can. So I think those are all needs, but I don't know if you can. So should the Cowboys be buyers at the trade deadline? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Drew DTX, happy birthday, Jerry. You're 2, 3, and 1. This is filmed on our Monday live show, which was Jerry's birthday, by the way. Your defense is garbage. You've only had Taco and Randy Gregory. Or was that Steven's fault? SMD, Jerry. Which is quite funny because normally you see SMDH, but it's funny. It's funny. Look, honestly, we might do it, maybe during the bye week we'll do it. Your defensive misses in the draft have been startlingly bad. Like, that is what has really hurt you over the last couple of years. Like, you should be getting impact play from these young defenders you're drafting early, and you're really not. You probably let Dan Quinn have too much influence there. But, I mean, outside of Deron Bland in 2022, your top 130 picks have been Sam Williams, Junior Fayoko, Mozzie Smith, Kelvin Joseph, Chauncey Golston, Deshaun Wright, Osa, Marshawn Nealand, Leafau, Revel, and Ezeraku. That's a lot of misses on there. Makes it really hard to win games. Nate Snyder says, F it, send a first for Kyle Hamilton. I don't think, it's funny, but I get it. He's awesome. I actually don't know if I can trade my first round pick. Like, that might be top 10. And I don't want to trade a top 10 pick. I'm going to need that pick to either trade down, get a good young player, get more assets. Hamilton's awesome. You know, if you get to that pick, like I want to know where I'm picking before I trade that first round pick. And then I'm open to, considering it. Matt Eberflus, although he couldn't spell curse right, which is pretty funny. Or maybe he did. I don't know. Who cares? Trade for Quinnen Williams. I don't know if DT is what you need. I don't think Kenny Clark or Osa have played very well, at least not the last couple weeks. They were better earlier in the year. Again, I wonder if it's a trickle-down effect from your passing defense being so bad. But you're going to commit, and pull this up here on the fly real quick. Osa in cash is due, let me pull this up here on the fly, is due a little under $17 million next season. Kenny Clark in cash is due about $21.5 million. And then Quinnen Williams next year in cash is due about, it's 2026, 21.75. You can't spend $60 million in cash on defensive tackles. Like, that's not feasible. You're going to have to cut somebody. And then in that case, why are you trading for another one if you just cut somebody? It's not really a great plan. Name a player who you want to trade for. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Who do you want to trade for? From Rogue, how do you feel about Texas Longhorns, DC for next year? So that's Pete Kwiatkowski. I actually don't know how to pronounce his last name. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but Pete K. Has only been a college guy. He's also going to be 60 next year. So I think he's just a college guy. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. Actually, I do like him. But I don't think adding a college-only guy, jump into the NFL with no real experience with Schottenheimer, never done it in the NFL, that's probably not the path I want to pursue. He does do some of the fun 3-3-5 stuff, which I like, but that might be more of a college thing anyway. Tim Hoover, why not fire Eberflus and give one of his assistants a chance? Couldn't be any worse. That's where I'm at this point. Like, I'm done trying. Like, they're not. They know they have issues and they're not properly trying to fix them. Like, they're not like actually changing things. Like, it's just kind of like, we know best. And like, do you actually though? Like, I don't know if that's really a good path. Like, that's what I would do. I don't know if the Cowboys would consider it. Just frustrating. Ecuador man, why give prime assets for a lost season? I don't get it. And that's where I'm at. Look, we can and should reevaluate in 2 weeks. get through the Commanders game, get through the Broncos game. That's going into trade deadline, week timeline. You got a week away at that point on that Tuesday. Then see where you're at. But I'm not flipping my 1 or my 2 right now when I don't think the player you get fixes your entire defense right now. That might be more of a big overhaul in the offseason type of plan. This is today's Super Chat menu. Any Super Chat will get you a shout out on the show. A $5 Super Chat gets you a raffle entry. $10 gets you 3 raffle entries. $50 for a shot and $100 for a beer bong. Let me know in the comments section if you have any Super Chats. We'll get into them. I also want you guys to predict how many games the Cowboys will win this year. Let me sip some of my energy drink. Yeah, I mentioned Joe Cullen as a potential Spags guy. I kind of think it's like it might just be Spags. Like if he just might be the guy. A lot of the guys have like bounced around career wise. Like I guess maybe Brendan Daly, but he's also I think been there for like 20 years or something. That's the linebackers coach. Like I don't know how much like it's other guys under Spags, but like you should interview guys like that. Go interview Joe Cullen. Why not? Like do something to try to make this team a little bit better. Like that's the type of stuff that I would do. So guys, you're not getting Myles Garrett. He's not available. Yeah, I know he's mad about losing. The Browns just paid him a record-setting amount of money. It's just not going to happen. Like you can give up those pipe dreams today and next year too. It's not in the cards. It's not in the cards. So 6-8, 7, 10, 4, 5, 8, 8, and 1, 5, 5, 7, 6, 10, 6, 10. Still some 10s. Keep them coming in the comment section of today's show. We are once again looking at some changes the Cowboys, I would like to see them make at least, on the defensive side of the ball. Matt Eberflus firing is one of them. We know they're not going to. We've gone over this plenty of times here on the show. It's available on the channel, the rants, the ravings, the crash outs, we'll call it. Eberflus and this defense. If you have not checked them out, please go do so. They'll be in the comment section of today's show as well. All the latest Cowboys news, rumors, more frustration, happiness, whatever. We have you. Anger, maybe more so right now. We got you covered. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. All right, so first, like tangible change that could happen. Blitz a little bit. And these, by the way, 2 and 3 here are all kind of tied into like, please do some more man coverage stuff. Like that's like the underlying crux of like they don't like doing man. They're not doing a lot of it. I'm going to kind of moneyball my way in here to, hey, you got to play Scott. So I'm going to make you do things that kind of make you play more man coverage in the end. Blitz more. It was 5 times against the Panthers. 5. That is it. On those blitzes, by the way, Bryce Young was 3 of 4, 29 yards and a TD and a sack. It's actually worse than what it was outside of the blitzing. But, like, do it more than 5 times. Look, the Cowboys this year are not the best when it comes to blitzing. They're at 0.31 EPA per play. There are some massive chunk gains that they've also allowed in those moments, but they suck no matter what. So I am of the belief if you're bad and no matter what you do here, you probably should try to also generate some stuff in your favor. So let's look at some of the pressure rates here. Blitzing, 40. These are all per NFL's next-gen stats. 49% pressure rate when blitzing. It's pretty good. No blitz, 35.1. And the time to pressure, by the way, startlingly different. 2.5 versus 2.8. That's on average. That 0.3 means a lot. The sack rate nearly doubles, more importantly, when they blitz versus when they don't blitz. They cannot get home with 4. They have not been good this year, outside of James Houston, frankly, at getting home with 4 rushers. They have to try something different. You cannot keep just saying 4-man fronts with like no real stunts will work. This is why your third down defense is so bad. If you can't get pressure, the quarterback gets time to sit back there and throw. Like, you have to try to blitz. You're not really trying. You're at least giving yourself some splash plays to get yourself off the field. So do you want the Cowboys to blitz a little bit more? Because if you blitz, you're probably going to play some more man coverage too. Y for yes, N for no, and you're going to build your cornerback's ability to not to cover for 4 seconds, it feels like. Y for yes, N for no. Tying into this a little bit, fix your run fits. And much like the Mike Nolan era, there's probably 5 shows worth of each individual player of bro, what are you doing here? Why is this your formation? This was one of the ones that I noticed in the moment. I'm like, that's not a good fit. 3 tight end package here, all on the right side for Carolina. The math ain't mathin'. You got 3 guys to the left of the center for 2 blockers. Then you've got 5 guys with the center on the right side against 6 blockers, including the center. That math ain't mathin'. And then what ends up happening, guess where Carolina ran? They ran right at Dante Fowler, who is standing up and jumping inside. The linebackers can't fit it properly. And even when the Cowboys are in a proper formation, there's massive issues fitting the run. Just massive issues. We'll talk about the linebackers here in a little bit. Man, they are bad right now. And your defensive linemen are getting blown off the ball. I watched Marshawn Nealand, who I think was hurt and was a factor in why he didn't play well, but still get pushed 10 yards off the ball by a friggin' tight end and Tommy Tremble. I watched Jay Toia get manhandled. You know what Jay Toia's average depth of tackle is this year? 12. 12 yards downfield. Now, it's 2 plays, small sample size, it's run, but he's not handling double teams well. You're honestly better off playing Mozzie right now, which is a huge concern. I would like to see the Cowboys in obvious rundowns do some more 5-man fronts. They are, per Summer Sports, they are dead last in the NFL in 5-man front, which includes you put Maurice Leafau lined up along the defensive line as a stand-up, outside Sam linebacker at 9.5%. Dead last in 9.5%. One of them was on this play. You got 5 linemen there. You got the linebacker lined up over the center. And because you're doing weird stuff in coverages, you're asking him to cover both the flat on the right side and deep downfield. It's weird to me. It's super weird. There's one more photo I want to go to as well. Producer, I think it was the next one in that sheet I want to go to here as well. Of just I don't really understand what they're going for here. Should be the Sam Williams photo if I have it. Should be the next one down after that, or I didn't put it in. We'll cut this out. It's fine. There was one play where Sam Williams was lined up at 3 technique. And I'm like, what are we doing out here? Why would you do that? He's 250 pounds. Why is he playing 3 technique? It's just a bad idea. It was silly from the get-go, and it doesn't make sense. This run defense is bad. They are not doing their jobs. They have collapsed as of late. They have gone from being okay, above average, to bad. Even the guys who were playing good against North Pacific, Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark was playing really good football the first couple weeks. Last 2, he's been bad. I don't know if he's hurt or what, but he's getting bounced. Your front 4 is getting bounced out the club. Your linebackers are seeing red and just filling randomly. It's a mess. All the numbers come up bad. You can't do it. Osa's not playing up to what you need him to be playing right now. He's also 280. There's just all kinds of bad. It's not remotely where it needs to be right now for the Dallas Cowboys. What is good is Omaha Steaks. Today's show is made possible by Omaha Steaks. Get an extra $35 off at checkout by using promo code Cowboys. That's on top of their ongoing sales. From handcrafted steaks to delicious fall favorites, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. Not just steaks, though. Who doesn't love a delicious, juicy, medium rare, because we know how to cook our meats properly, steak. The protein pack, for example, take an extra $35 off this, by the way. Not just steaks, it's filet mignons, which are the best, chicken breasts, pork chops, steak burgers, sausages, steak seasoning as well. Free shipping tacked onto that as well. Grass-fed and grain-finished beef has more marbling and exceptional flavor and is the choice of steakhouses and professional chefs worldwide, and that's what Omaha Steaks uses. Go to omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide, plus an extra 20% off select favorites and more limited-time deals during their early Black Friday sale. Use promo code COWBOYS at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details. A big thank you to our advertiser, Omaha Steaks. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code Cowboys. Next up, look, I think you have to get a new linebacker. Or at least change your deployment of them. It's bad right now. Honestly, I think the majority, not all, but I think like the single biggest issue in your run defense against Carolina, you're not fitting the run properly from your linebacking group. You're just not. Kenneth Murray, he's the same guy he's been over the course of his career. He doesn't fit the run properly. When he triggers, it's slow. It's not always to the right spot. He's too slow on the trigger. He's athletic. Can try him in some coverage stuff, but I don't think he should be one of your, I guess he has to be one of your early down base linebackers, but if you're going to do two linebacker sets against the run, I'm going Sanborn and Liufau right now. That's how bad it is. Sanborn, the on-off splits are startling. It's 3.85 when he is on the field on defense. I mentioned this in a previous video. 3.86 yards per carry on the field. 6.35 off the field in terms of yards. It was the Jets game and the Panthers game for when Sanborn's been off the field and when Sanborn's been on it. He just is a starting gap between your linebacker play with Sanborn and everybody else. Shamar James is athletic. He's fun. He's a blast to watch, but he doesn't know where he's going yet. The tackles are all coming downfield. He's jumping to the wrong gap. He and Murray both are. He's young. I like him. I think there's actually some promising coverage stuff. He can be on the field on third downs. I guess you put Liufau out there on first and second. I don't think that's a great option right now. They're also playing him at Sam, and is that really his best fit? I'm not so sure. I would go try to find somebody else. I don't know who that is. Eric Kendricks is the best one on this list. But also, does he want to come play for a bad team? Because that's how you're going to be viewed by free agents. It's going to be bad. Isaiah Simmons is athletic, but that's the exact same issue you're facing right now. You can go trade for somebody if you wanted to. Logan Wilson's basically lost his job in Cincinnati. The Dolphins suck. Demario Davis is good, but does he want to come play for a bad team? I don't know if Cody Barton's any better. Guys like Jerome Baker and Devin Bush. Maybe Devin Bush could be a fun option, but should you be buying in a good-ish linebacker? These guys might not be good either. Overshown's going to get back. This might end up being a change in the offseason where you, again, shuffle your linebacking core pretty significantly. Name a linebacker you want to get. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Name a linebacker you want to go add. Next up, I have to do something with Donovan Wilson. There is something that I have to do. He cannot continue to play the way he is being deployed. Either bench him because he can't cover. How many blown assignments involve Donovan Wilson in some capacity? I get he's a captain. Or if you're not going to bench him, stop playing him as a deep safety. You have to find a way to stop doing this. You cannot continue to deploy Donovan Wilson as a deep safety. It doesn't work. I don't understand why Matt Eberflus is so committed to playing Wilson back deep. He has played more deep snaps, which I'm counting as PFF's free safety snaps, which I think is pretty accurate, it's not in the box, than he ever has in his career. He's about to surpass his total snaps deep in 2 weeks this rate. Maybe a month. Stop it. He's not good in that area. I don't know why they're not having Wanye Thomas be your deep safety. Try Elijah Clark. Try Marquise Bell. Try something. I'm tired of Donovan Wilson in coverage getting his ankles broken. He can't cover tight ends in man. He can't do it. Stop it. Try something different there. Try Bell. I know but Bell was bad in the preseason. We are in the try shit stage. Try shit, please.
My next one is actually maybe a bit more controversial. I have seen enough of the Sam Williams experiment, frankly. I can't keep doing this with him. I have been extremely disappointed with the play of Sam Williams this year. I don't think he's a very good run defender. He kind of continuously finds a way to take himself out of gaps and slice it. And I feel like he's not staying gap sound. He's not keeping contained very well. And he's not really doing that much as a pressure player. Over the last 4 weeks, he's got 4 penalties, 1 quarterback hit, and 1 sack. His best plays have helped the other team, man. There's always something with Sam Williams. He's got 4 penalties this year, 4 missed tackles, 12 pressures total. Cannot be your ratio as a pass rusher. I don't think he's very good against the run. I'm not seeing that much juice in the pass rush. There's some moments of it, but nothing consistent. For a guy that the Cowboys were kind of like saying they might want to extend, not a singular reason to extend him right now. Do you agree with me the Cowboys should bench Sam Williams? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Now, how I would deploy my edges, by the way, if Williams is like, or maybe that's like cut down on the snaps, I would give all of the pass rush reps his way to James Houston. I get that they don't trust Houston as a run defender. I understand that. He's very undersized. But you know what, man? It's like Sam Williams is playing any better. I thought Clowney didn't play much. I don't think he was very good against Panthers. I thought he had a really rough day against Carolina. Probably still ramping him up. Nealon was banged up. That's why he didn't play well against the run. When he's healthy, he's good there. Ezra I thought was actually pretty solid. It's coming for him, but it's just not there yet. I'm over the experiment with him. I can't stand him continuously finding a way to be among your penalty leaders every single year. Every year he does it. He's an undisciplined player. He's got 4 penalties. Nobody else on defense has more than 2. Got double the next guy. Just bad. Who do you blame the most for the Cowboys' issues so far? C for the coaches, F for the front office, P for the players. C, F, or P? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. C, F, or P? Let me know who you blame the most for the Cowboys' issues right now. 61% saying C, 9% voting P, 30% voting F for the front office. Drew DTX, do we think Mingo replaces Flanoy when he's back from IR? No, I don't think so. If he replaces anybody, again, check in with me on Wednesday, because all I'm going to say is that Mingo did not practice on Thursday and Friday on his injury designation. Shoddy said he was sore. I don't know, man. 2 days of soreness after 1 day of practice? That sounds fishy to me. My setback alarms are going up when I hear that type of stuff. So I think that's, if it's anyone, it's Cropper, and you just cut Cropper, put him back on the practice squad, no one's going to claim, or not Cropper, Campbell, no one's going to claim Campbell. Like, you don't have to worry about that. So I think it'd be Paris Campbell, and you have Mingo on the active roster. And I don't even know if you should play Mingo right now. I think Flanoy's better, and Tolbert does more other stuff for you. Did Jaden regret to play football? Night and day from how I ran in the preseason. I mean, look, it's tough when you have 3 carries for 0 yards and you have 5 yards after contact. That's probably not his fault. I can't really judge a guy when he's got 15 yards after contact this season and 7 total. I think that's the offensive line failing him a little bit. I think the vision's been a bit spotty. There hasn't been room to run. He's getting back with all the time. So I don't blame Blue. He's got 7 carries all year. Like, I'm not gonna freak out over that quite yet. This is all per PFF, by the way. 2.14 yards of the contact. It's not great, but he has not been set up for success. Plus, he's not a tackle breaker. He needs space, and he hasn't gotten space. Alex Vasquez, 90. $10. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. The front office's conservative approach means the current roster and staff have to adapt internally. Bottom line, the defense must self-correct because help isn't coming till next year. And that's probably right. And I would maybe even almost argue with how bad you are, maybe you don't want to try to like go too crazy. I am open to making trades because your defense clearly needs help. But if it's not, if it's cheap, I'm open to it. But I'm not selling the farm to make stuff happen. Zach Crosby says Flus makes me miss Zimmer. Brutal. You still the 31st points allowed defense last year. Offense wasn't helping you nearly as much as it was now, but yeah, it's bad. Chris B, sucks how bad the team's been for 2 years. Thanks, Joneses. You didn't commit it 2 years ago, like I said to. They kind of kicked the can down the line, and they're facing the repercussions. And they kicked the can down the line pretty far on Jerry Jones, or on Micah, and they're paying the price for it. So we will be live again here on Thursday. Hit that sub button if you haven't already for free Cowboys videos each and every single day. Live on Thursday, live for the Commanders game on Sunday. I might play my must-win card this week. We'll see.